Good morning, students. This is your economics teacher, and I'm teaching grade 11. So, let's begin for today's topic. So, as you know, our school, Cambridge International School, the SUA, has taken e-learning initiative to help our students at the time of this COVID-19 pandemic so that your studies will not suffer. So I'm here to help you out for your learning with e-learning initiative. Now, uh, the chapter we were doing, that is chapter number 2. So continuous equilibrium, that is the name of the chapter. So your subject is economics. Topic for today's lesson is ordinal utility approach. So this is for grade 11, and your teacher's name is Sarita Sani. So I'm here to teach you the next topics. So what are the topics we are going to cover today? So yes, so today's first topic which we are going to cover today is difference between cardinal and ordinal approach. We have already covered cardinal approach, but today we have to cover ordinal approach in detail. So we will do first the difference between cardinal and ordinal utility approach. So next thing which we have to do it is we have to do the detailed study of your ordinal utility approach. Then we have to discuss about indifference curve. Then all the facts related to your indifference curve. So then like we do every day, so questions to be done for today. So we will do in the end of your chapter. So let's start today's topic. So the first thing is the comparison between or the difference between your cardinal utility approach and ordinal utility approach. The first point is the difference between both on the basis of meaning. So the first point is cardinal utility is the utility wherein the satisfaction derived by the consumer from the consumption of goods or services can be expressed numerically. So we can express the values of all the goods and services in the terms of utils, and that will be all expressed in numeric values like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that we can mention. Now the next concept is ordinal utility. So on the basis of meaning of utility, this ordinal utility. So let's discuss about this. So ordinal utility states that the satisfaction which a consumer derives from the consumption of goods or services cannot be expressed numerical cannot be expressed in numerical units. So yes, we cannot measure ordinal utility approach with the help of numbers. So it is not numerical in values. Next thing is, yes, if something is expressed in numerical terms, we call it as quantitative in nature. And when something is not uh, measured in quantitative terms, we call it as qualitative measure. So both the approaches are different on the basis of this quantitative and qualitative approach. So next is realistic. So which is more realistic? The approach which is not numerical. So we call it as that is more realistic. So ordinal approach is more realistic as compared to cardinal utility approach. Next is measurement. So cardinal utility approach, we were measuring in utils, and when we talk about the ordinal utility approach, we just talk about the ranks. Fine. So next is analysis. When we talk about the cardinal utility, so we have marginal utility analysis, because we can add some units and we can find out the value in utils, whether it is increased or in decreased. So we have discussed about the marginal utility about this also in the previous topics. So we have discussed about the marginal utility of single commodity, and then two commodities also, marginal utility of money also. So it is based on marginal utility analysis. So we have discussed earlier even. Now the next thing is indifference curve analysis. So yes, when we talk about the utility, this ordinal utility, that can be always indifference. We can take the combination of goods sorry, but we measure with the help of only different combinations of the goods, and that cannot be measured in the terms of numeric values. So that is the point for difference here. Next is promoted by. So the first cardinal utility approach is always promoted by classical and neoclassical economists. And when we talk about the ordinal utility approach, this is always promoted by modern economists. So it is very important to understand the consumer behavior patterns to design the production facility and capital requirement for different consumers. So this is what we have discussed for the first topic. Now let's move on to the ordinal approach. So the first part which we are going to start today for ordinal approach is introduction about ordinal utility approach. The first thing, ordinal utility approach is also known as indifference curve or Hicksian analysis. Why we call it as Hicksian analysis? So we have the answer for this in the second point. The indifference curves was made by J.R. Hicks. So that was the name of the economist. And R.G.D. Allen, so popularly known as Hicks and Allen. So when they both have given this indifference curve, so their name was Hicksian analysis also and indifference curve also. Now, last point for this. So in 1934, they wrote an article, reconstruction of the theory of value, presenting the indifference curve analysis. So here is the beginning of your ordinal utility approach. So both were the modern economists. So let's start with the next concept of ordinal utility approach. So the next concept is indifference curve. So when we talk about combination of goods, so then we are always thinking of indifference curve. And when we are not able to measure all the goods and goods a combination in the numerical values, not in the numerical values, then we always confine about indifference curve. So what is the definition of this? An indifference curve may be defined as a locus. Locus means it is like the center point. It is the center point. So main point. So locus of various combinations of two goods which yield same total satisfaction to the consumer. So two combinations which are giving same level of satisfaction to the consumer. So that we call it as, that is indifference curve. So in other words, I can say indifference curve refers to the graphical representation of various alternative combination of bundles of two goods among which the consumer is indifferent. So if I am having combination of two goods and I feel the level of satisfaction while consuming both the goods, once I am taking one good in the large number, another good in the less number, and in the other combination I can take first good in the small number and the other good into the large number. So in both the cases, the satisfaction level which I'm getting is always the same. Now let's move on to the indifference curve with schedule and the curve. So yes, here is a curve and we can see there are two combinations. Two goods are mentioned here. One is the biscuits, another is bananas. So you can see many combinations are there, and the line which the curve which we are making with the combination of these goods, we call it as IC, that is indifference curve. So you can see in the picture. So we have to just show it in the form of combinations of two goods on the indifference curve. So let's move on to the next thing. So in detail, we will discuss about further more things about this. So an indifference curve is the locus of all the points representing different combinations that are equally satisfactory to the consumer. So all are satisfactory to consumers. So if I can talk about this first unit, first A combination. So in this 1 and 12, one packet of biscuits and 12 bananas. That means 1 dozen of bananas and 1 packet of biscuits. So in this combination, we are mentioning about the first combination. So in this combination, we are getting the satisfaction level from 1 packet of biscuit and 12 bananas. Now in the next case, we got 2 packets of biscuits and 8 bananas. So this is the second combination. In this also the satisfaction level which the person is getting, that is even the same. In the third combination, 3 packets of biscuits and 5 bananas, that will be always giving the same. Even the combination gives you same satisfaction level. Next is D combination. In 4 packets of biscuits and 3 bananas, they are always giving you good combination, and with that even the same satisfaction level as you got in the combination A, combination B or C, you will get here also. Next is E. So in the combination E, we are getting 5 packets of biscuits and 2 bananas. So again the level of satisfaction which we are getting by consuming both the commodities, that will be the similar as compared to other four combinations. So I hope this is clear to you. Next, let's move on to the one more concept. Now, the next concept which we have to discuss related to indifference curve or ordinal approach is monotonic preferences. So what are monotonic preferences? That means an individual, whatever the level of satisfaction he will be getting from the particular combination of commodities, we call it as bundle of we can say the two different bundles, so we call it as monotonic preferences. So let me just discuss with you. So as we have written here, monotonic preferences means that a rational consumer is one who is rational, who is working with rational mind. That means he is using his money to the fullest for his level of satisfaction. So rational consumer always prefers more of a commodity as it offers him a higher level of satisfaction. So what we always do, we need to prefer to pay even less money or the equivalent money which will be giving us the similar level of satisfaction how much we are spending upon for buying a particular commodity. Next thing is, in simple words, monotonic preferences implies that as consumption increases, total utility also increases. So as we are consuming one commodity of goods, our total utility is also increasing. So we always prefer this in the monotonic preferences. So next thing is example related to this. So we can consider here two goods, that is apples and bananas. Now, suppose two different bundles are there, 10A and 10B. That means 10 units of apple and 10 units of B. So that is giving the same level of satisfaction. Even the next bundle is here, 7 units of apple and 7 units of this bananas. So these are also giving the same level of satisfaction. So first bundle as compared to second bundle will be called as monotonic preference, as first bundle contains more of both apples and bananas. So who will be preferring the, being a rational consumer, we are always preferring to have more more of both apples as well as bananas. So this is, I hope, clear to you. So monotonic preferences is that level of satisfaction which we are getting when we are getting more commodities, more units of commodities. So we prefer the more level of satisfaction with those use of more commodities. So let's move to the next thing. Now, so next topic is indifference map. So if we are talking about indifference map, this is nothing but the set of family of indifference curve is IAM, that is indifference map. So we are using short form for indifference map is IAM and the short form for indifference curve is IC. So here is the one more important concept is here, that the highest level of, like lower level of IC, the lower level of IC, the more the IC curve is like curved, that will be giving you lower level of satisfaction. So a lower level of IC represents a lower level of satisfaction. So I hope this is clear to you. So what is indifference map? It is a set or family of indifference curves. So we call it as indifference map. So you can see the picture here. So this is representing your many IC curves on one graph. So that will be your indifference map. Uh, In simple words, I can give you even definition for this, so you can note it down. Indifference map refers to the family of indifference curves that represents consumer preference over all the bundles of the two goods. So whatever the combination, whatever the bundles of goods we are preferring, that comes under the all the bundles which we are mentioning in the form of indifference curves. So that the combination of all the indifference curves that is represented on one graph, we call it as set or family. We call it as indifference map. So the next topic which we have to do for today is marginal rate of substitution. This term we have already discussed, but here we are talking about the marginal rate of substitution of two commodities, that is bananas and even apples. So what is marginal rate of substitution? So marginal rate of substitution shows how much of one commodity is substituted for another. So if we are one if we are preferring one combination of commodities and for gaining other commodities more quantity, we need to sacrifice one. So that is marginal rate of substitution. Fine. So at what rate a consumer is willing to substitute one commodity for another in his consumption pattern? So this will be always provided by this marginal rate of substitution. As you remember, we have done one marginal rate of substitution means one sacrifice of one commodity for gaining another commodity, that is the rate. We have done earlier also in the beginning of our chapter. Next is the margin rate of substitution is parallel to the concept of marginal utility. We have done about this also, marginal utility and total utility. So this is marginal utility in the Marshallian analysis of demand that we have already discussed. So let's move on to the next topic. So MRS between apple and banana. So we can see the combination here. So the first combination is of PQRST. So we have got a few combinations. So in the first combination, we have got 1 unit of apple and 15 units of banana. In the second combination, we got 2 units of apple and 10 units of banana. So here again 5:1, that will be for banana and apple. So again the next one is 3 units of 3 units of apples and 6 units of bananas in the R combination, and here the 4 units of banana and 1 unit of apple, that is the rate of substitution which we are getting here, marginal rate of substitution which we are getting with this. Next is again for the S combination 4 units of apple and 3 units of banana is here. So this marginal rate of substitution is 3:1. So 3 units of banana per units of this units of one units of apple. Next is a T combination. So in this 5 units of apple and 1 unit of banana that is given to you, and the marginal rate of substitution always start declining with this combination. So you can discuss all these things. So now we can move to this. Again we have IC curve, so which is depicting here the diminishing marginal rate of substitution as. So here is the graph which is representing IC curve with different combinations of goods, and MRS between apple and banana that is shown with different with different combinations that we have already discussed in the marginal rate of substitution this schedule. So this is here. So we can discuss in detail all the points which we have mentioned in the substitution schedule. We have got the same points here. Now the next thing. So let's move on to the next thing. That is why MRS diminishes. So with all the combinations, when we are moving from P, Q, R, S, T, till last combination, our margin rate of substitution was declining. So why it happens? So margin rate of substitution, MRS, falls because of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So we have done already law of diminishing marginal utility. As we consume more and more units of a commodity, so as we are making more additions to the consumption level, so in this we are always feeling that the margin utility of the product which we are consuming again and again, that is losing, that is declining, that is diminishing. So here is the law they are defining with this. So why MRS diminishes? So because of the law of diminishing margin utility. So in the given example of apples and bananas, combination P has 1 unit of apple, and therefore apple is relatively more important than bananas here, because rare combination, so rare minority wins, as we have already discussed. So 1 unit of apple is there, and then due to this the consumer is willing to give up more bananas for an additional apple. So in the next unit we have got two apples, yes, and the second combination. So we have got then we are losing 5 bananas for that. Then but as he consumes more and more of apples, his margin utility from apples keep on declining. So margin utility of these apples are always declining. So you can see margin rate of substitution is first for first unit that was not mentioned, and for QRST it was declining. As a result, he is willing to give up less and less of bananas for each additional apple. So we are always giving up one, like we are giving less bananas for additional apple. So we are giving up less bananas for each additional apple. So this is what they have mentioned here. So this is why we are why the MRS diminishes in the case of apple and banana. So let's move on to the next topic. Next, when we are making any of the indifference curves, certain things we need to assume and keep in our mind before preparing any indifference curve. So the first thing is we need two commodities. So it is assumed that consumer has a fixed amount of money, and whole of which is to be spent on the two goods. So the given constant prices for both the goods. So for the prices of both the goods is always constant. So we mentioned this as a first assumption for your indifference curve. Next thing is we always feel the consumer is rational. So the consumer is assumed to behave in rational manner, as he aims to maximize his total satisfaction. So whatever he spends, he wants to have full satisfaction with that. Next is diminishing margin rate of substitution. Yes, so indifference curve analysis assumes diminishing margin rate of substitution. So it is the law availing here. So indifference curve is always convex to the region. So that is why diminishing marginal rate of substitution is always that will be the requirement when we have to think about of preparing indifference curve. Next is ordinal utility. Yes, in this consumer can rank his preference on the basis of satisfaction from each bundle of goods. So what is that? We can rank from one bundle, one combination of two commodities, and then we can rank to the other, and we just always give that for our satisfaction level for the bundle of goods. Next is non-satiety. So that word is again, what do you mean by this? I will just explain you this with the help of this. Non-satiety means it is related to the saturation point. When your saturation point is not reached, so that is the point of non-satiety. So it is assumed that the consumer has not reached the point of saturation. Consumer always prefer more of both commodities. He always tries to move to a higher indifference curve to get higher and higher satisfaction. So what they are doing, they are just trying to get higher and higher satisfaction. So the last point is transitivity. So they always transfer one commodity to another, and they are just always thinking of moving from one combination to another for the highest level of satisfaction. So these are the assumptions which we always think while we are thinking of preparing indifference curve. So let's move on to the next thing. So next is properties. So next are the properties of indifference curve. So properties of indifference curve. The first thing is indifference curve always slopes down. That is the important point. We have seen that diagram. So the diagram also, uh, it always move when we are it always slopes downward. So what is the reason behind this? So how we can say this? It implies that as a consumer consumes more of one good, he must consume less of the other good. So we cannot take both the goods in the same combination, same quantity. So now what happens? It happens because if the consumer decides to have more unit of good, say apples, he will have to reduce the number of other good, that is bananas, so the total level of satisfaction remains the same. So that is why the indifference curve always slopes downwards. So next thing is indifference curves cannot cross each other. Yes, this is a very important thing. They never intersect each other. So what is the reason behind this? As two indifference curves cannot represent the same level of satisfaction, they cannot intersect each other. So it means only one indifference curve will pass through a given point and on an indifference map. So you can see only one IC curve can cut the other one. We are not using all the indifference curves for intersecting each other. So indifference curve cannot cross or intersect each other. That is the point here. So I hope this is clear to you. Next thing is indifference curves cannot be thick. Yes, it cannot be thick because combinations, when we are talking about, these are always very like confined one. So in this case, these cannot be very thick. Okay. Next is indifference curves are convex to the origin. Yes, this is the first point. So as this we have already discussed earlier even. So indifference curves are convex to the origin. So what is the reason behind this? And indifference curve is convex to the origin because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. So marginal rate of substitution declines continuously because of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So I hope this is clear to you. This we have already covered. Next thing is higher indifference curve represents a higher level of satisfaction. Yes, as we have discussed in the case of indifference curve, the last one is giving you less level of satisfaction, and higher indifference curve always give you higher level of satisfaction. The next thing is indifference curves never intersect the axis. Yes, these are never intersecting the axis like x-axis or y-axis. These are always parallel to these axes and they are never cutting these axes. Fine. So these are the points for today. So in this we have covered all about the indifference curve. So let's now move to the last part of our slide. So that is the questions to be done for today. So what are the questions? So these are the questions. The first question is, we have already discussed difference between cardinal and ordinal utility approach. Then we have what is meant by indifference curve. Then we have to discuss about monotonic preferences. Then we have to discuss about indifference map with diagram. You have to make it. Then define MRS and explain it with the help of schedule and curve. So you can explain this, then give assumptions and properties of indifference curve. So that is all for today. So I hope you are enjoying all economics lessons. So if you find any of the topic is difficult, so you can give me call. My WhatsApp number you already have. So if you have any kind of query, just leave one message on my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is already with you, 90414080066. So you can ask for your queries on my WhatsApp number and I will give you message back, or if I found any more detail, I can give you call back even on your number. So thank you so much, I can say in the end. So thank you so much. God bless you. Enjoy learning at home. We are definitely going to win COVID-19 pandemic, and surely we are going to even not suffer in our studies. So Cambridge International School has taken an e-learning initiative, so you can learn with your parents at your home, with the comfort at your home. So enjoy learning, happy watching your all e-learning concepts, all e-learning studies. So thank you so much. God bless you. Stay happy, healthy, and enjoy learning at home. Thank you.